everybody, welcome back to my movie review series. Today we'll be discussing Notorious. I actually watched this one yesterday morning, then I did a lot of yard work, took a nap and just didn't record more than once yesterday. So hopefully I'll be able to get most of the scenes, we'll do the best I can. But you know how we do it, I'll give you my overall impressions and grade after reviewing the logistics provided by Google. If you've not seen it, would like to, once I give my grade, there's going to be spoiler alerts. We'll be discussing the plot, synopsis, and character development, and any similar movies or major themes. And so, obviously, we just recently reviewed 8 Mile, which documented Eminem, and now this one documents Christopher Wallace, aka the Notorious B.I.G. Watched it on Hulu. It says it's released in 2009. I have seen this one before. I watched it bootlegged back in high school. Probably one of the bootleg movies I've ever watched. It has a runtime of 2 hours and 2 minutes, and is rated R. Google says why to watch. It's tragic, compelling, and raw. Born and raised in Brooklyn, New York, Christopher Wallace, played by Jamal Woolard, parlays his gift for storytelling into a career as a rap artist, eventually dubbing himself Biggie Smalls, then later the Notorious B.I.G. Wallace's tales about violent street life take him to the top of the rap charts. The subject he so often raps about catches up with him in March of 1997 when he is shot to death after leaving a party. Did $44 million at the box office, had a budget of about $20. 77% liked it on Google, 6.7 out of 10 on Blu-ray.com, 52% on Rotten Tomatoes, and 6.7 out of 10 on IMDb. Directed by George Tillman Jr. What did I think? Again, obviously, I like anything with a historical backing. Typically those, if it's pretty entertaining and historical, will be in the A range. I don't know. I like this one. I did kind of like this one a little bit better than 8 Mile. Because like I said, in 8 Mile, it just doesn't really cover Eminem's like actual come up. This one I thought did a better job of covering the important parts of the Christopher's life. So I'm going to give it overall. So I'll stick with it just a B+. No really reason why it's not in the well done range. I just didn't think deserved it. I don't know. But overall, I definitely like this one. I recommend it. It's entertaining. It's got historical backing, and again, I like music. Certainly like hip hop. So an interesting story of a real life. So if you have not watched it, would like to, again, you can watch it on Hulu, and I recommend this one. So if you have not seen it, would like to, turn off the video. There will be spoiler alerts. So the movie opens up. And again, I watched this one yesterday morning, and again, I just watched another movie. So see how good we can go. But you see little Christopher is running around with his friend Damian Butler, who I believe that's who he calls D-Rock. But he's just running around. He wants nice white shoes. He's getting made fun of for being big by the girls. And then you get kind of a flash forward time to when he's probably about 16, 17 years old. And so he's going to school one day, very classic scene. He asks his mom, who is Violetta Wallace, who's played by the Andrea Bassett, I believe. Where is she at? Yep. And so he asks his mom, Violetta, how much does a trash man make a year? And she says about $28,000. And so by the time he's 17, he's already been introduced to selling weed or selling drugs. I think it's crack. But his friend D-Rock gets him into the game, and so he goes into the classroom, and his teacher, they're doing algebra, and the teacher's like, "Can somebody come up and solve for X?" He goes up there and solves for X, and then he's like, "Teacher, yesterday you told me I was going to become a garbage man," and the teacher's like, "Yep, if you keep cutting class, you will be." And he's like, a garbage man makes $28,000 a year, and a teacher makes $24,000 a year, so he's making $4,000 more a year than you. Pisses off the teacher and gets kicked out of class. And so he's carrying a weapon. He's selling some drugs. Goes back to his house. His mom is getting upset with him that she gets a letter in the mail that he's missed like 20 out of 30 days of school, and she's like, you can't even take care of yourself. I even had to throw away the mashed potatoes from under your bed. And he's like, those ain't no mashed potatoes, Ma. Another classic scene. So she's like, are you saying what I think you're saying? And he's like, they're kind of like fighting, and she's like, get out. So kind of at the same time, at the beginning, he's got a girlfriend named Jan. She gets pregnant, and so they're going to have a child. Now he's also, in addition to selling the drugs, He's also got a reputation for freestyle rapping. So there's another introductory or kind of early on movie scene where he rap battles this dude, just a local battle rapper, and Little Kim is in this movie, again played by Notorious, and where have I seen her before? Is that the chick from Power as well? Regardless, the actual historical rapper Little Kim sees him kind of battle rapping, and she's walking her way to work. She works at like a receptionist at a hotel maybe. And so that kind of scene happens, and then he's like, I need to get some money for my daughter because she's gonna need stuff. And so he starts selling. It's not sure if he stops selling, but he goes to selling again. And he's selling, I guess now, once he gets kicked out of his mom's house, he starts doing bigger weight, more of a distributor. He's got people working under him, and then he goes back out onto the street, and he's got a weapon, and he gets pulled over by the police. Him and D-Rock are walking down the street. He tries to toss the gun, the police get it. They're sitting in an investigation or interrogation room, and Big is like, it's my gun, I'll take the bid. And D-Rock is like, man, I got you into this game, now I'm gonna get you out. You have something special with this music, make something of yourself. You have priors. So if you get arrested, you're gonna go to prison for like 5-6 years. If I do it, I'll do it maybe two or 3. And so Big reluctantly lets D-Rock take the fall for his weapon, and Big is now going to do this music thing as aggressively as he can. And so he gets introduced to Sean Combs, P. Diddy Combs. I guess now it's just Diddy. I don't know if he's still doing anything, probably still producing stuff. But I haven't heard about him for a while. But he gets introduced to him through D-Rock. And so Sean is like, it's either the streets or the music grind. And so Big's like, this shit's got to pop off, but I'll 100% do the music if it makes sense. And so Sean's like, how old are you? He's like 19. He's like, I'll make you a millionaire by 21. And so, I'm sure I'm getting the scenes out of word a little bit. But regardless, he was like, Sean gets fired from his executive role, and so he can only book a couple local college shows for Big. So his first kind of thing he does is at Howard University. Sean's got a name there, or D-Rock's got a name there, and D-Rock goes to jail. I'm not sure the exact order. But regardless, he goes up there, performs, and the show kind of goes crazy and kind of goes wild. And so he starts getting big. He kind of like freestyles a little bit, or like talks with Little Kim. Then they have a sex scene, and so now they're kind of dating. Jan has their kid, but he's now kind of dating Little Kim. And so Little Kim starts rapping a little bit, and didn't know much of her music, but definitely some of that nasty. But I can like that as well. But regardless, Big starts being like a manager for Little Kim's music as well. And so he goes to like a photo shoot and meets his main squeeze. He also ends up cheating on her as well. But he meets Faith Evans, and kind of, within like 3 weeks marries her. And so Little Kim is now frustrated. They have a tense scene in the booth because she wants to be with Big. He's now popular. He's a popular rapper now. And he's moved on to Faith Evans. And so Big moves in with her. Again, I'm not sure exactly of the different things. Tupac, him and Tupac were friends at the beginning. And so they're kind of doing shows together, or they meet up in a club. They're all friendly. They're excited about their shared success. And yeah, that's what's going on. And then one day, they have the Tupac's coming over to hang out with Big and them. He's comes out to go up to the studio or go up to wherever they're hanging out, and he gets shot. And so yeah, that happens. And so that's, again, Tupac might have gotten shot before then also, but I can't remember exactly. But regardless, he gets shot in this elevator place, and now the beef or the tension is between the East Coast and the West Coast. They have a couple cut screens of talking about who's better, Biggie or Tupac, is again the classic. Who's the best rapper of all time? It's like, who's the best musician? It's like it's not a valid question. Music is I would say it's subjective, but it's just, if you enjoy it, there's not like gradation to it. And so Regardless, now they have tension, and Big releases a song called "Who Shot Ya," and Tupac takes that as like, you know, a rip against him, and so they're recording another thing. You see a scene where he records, I forget one of his main songs, but regardless, then now they have tension. Tupac, you know, pulls up after him like one day, like, you know, you're not gonna be able to walk down the street on the West Coast. Blah blah blah. One of Biggie's guys has a weapon. They get back in the car. Tupac is with Suge Knight, who plays a minor character. Again, not the actual Suge Knight, but the actual character doesn't appear too much in there. But regardless, that's what happens. And so, Big gets injured somehow. Again, I don't think he gets shot yet. Definitely doesn't die yet. But he's like laid up in a bed, and then D-Rock ends up getting out of prison. They reconnect, and Big's like, you know, I have some money put away from you for your commissary. And D-Rock is happy that Big has made something of his music career. And so, Jan has another minor scene where she shows up with Big's first child at Faith Evans' house, telling him to, you know, spend some time with his kid. Faith Evans also realizes that Big might be cheating on her, goes to a hotel room one night and sees him cheating, catches him cheating, and so they kind of tension, and then they get back together or stay together at least. It's not quite sure, but then kind of through the after just Tupac also got murdered, but Tupac got shot again, I think, and I think he was shot twice in the movie. Once at the elevator scene, and then he actually gets killed. So I believe Tupac in real life dies first. Can't remember the movie scene for scene, but regardless, Tupac is dead. He sees it on the news, and so they're kind of torn up about it. He continues to. He has another scene where it's like he's on the West Coast. His mom warns him not to go out there. The crowd's not really feeling his music, and he decides to play the "Who Shot Ya" track. And so they come out of the studio. He kind of reconnects with Lil' Kim a little bit, talking like they can get back together, or they can work it out, or, you know, talk again. Not really sure exactly what happened with Faith Evans. But regardless, the opening scene is him actually about to get shot, and so now that, you know, Reek comes together, or they're leaving this West Coast venue, and he drives, and they pull up and shoot him against March 10th or 11th or whatever in 1997, and Big is now deceased. And so the resolution to the movie is his mom, Valletta Wallace, kind of driving down the streets of Brooklyn and, you know, seeing all the people singing his music, having a parade for him, remembering his life, and saying, you know, I can turn on the radio and hear my son's voice. So that's the resolution to the movie. Again, I'm sure I missed several scenes in this one because I watched it yesterday and did another movie in between. But overall, I recommend it. I thought it was entertaining, higher end of entertaining, B+. So thank you for watching my review of Notorious, and I will see you on the next one.